My name's Nathan Coley. I'm an artist based in Glasgow, and I run a studio here in the Whisky Bond. I think people would describe me as someone who makes work that deals with architecture. I'm interested in public space, ideas of religion and communities. My work manifests itself as being both text works, sculptures, photography, film, and I think I think of myself as someone who makes objects. So Lamp of Sacrifice takes its start from the Edinburgh Yellow Pages of 2004, and within that, listed under places of worship, there are 286 listings. And so that list of buildings that occupy the cityscape of Edinburgh have been remade, have been rebuilt using cardboard. So the existing churches, mosques and synagogues and preaching halls are taken from the real world, and I'm abstracting the form that the manifestation of faith takes due to installing them and displaying them in a cityscape and in a layout which is not the way that the real world is. We look again at them. So the audience come in and see these cardboard objects, and I think initially there's a look of recognition. They look to find the church that Leslie was married in. Is that the synagogue on the corner of such a street? So they want to see their world in the form. These places of worship have meaning due to the fact they've been made and financed by the community that use them. Whether it's a fancy building with a spire or a porta cabin in an industrial estate is not the thing that interests me. The thing that interests me is that they manifest communities and people. It's the first major project that I've had bad news about in that way, and I think at first I thought, what a shame that it's gone. But then quite quickly actually started to try and see it as could there be something positive that comes out of a bad situation? We met to discuss what to do. What are we going to do, bearing in mind this work has been damaged? And I decided quite early on that I had to think of what was the best thing for the work. And it became quite easy because the answer is that the work needed to be remade. My memory went back to making it the first time around, which was grueling and tough and physically demanding. And I guess there was a bit of me thought to myself that I was crazy to do it again. I think going back to visit a work that's 12 years old is conceptually and emotionally quite something. We had to decide, are we going to go back to the original photographs and make again from the research, or are we going to copy the object that was made? Some of the existing buildings are still churches. Some have fallen out of use, perhaps. Some have maybe even been made into luxury flats. So is it the same work that we're making, or is it different? The interesting thing, I think, is that the making of the cardboard models the first time around was with no intention other than making manifest the idea. So the original was the making from the world, and the restoration is the making from the first one. So I like the idea that it's ever so slightly moving away from its origin. If we think about the essence of the work, which is about the remaking of something which already exists, maybe it's not a bad idea to remake it. Maybe we should just think of it as being a continuation of the project. I'm not the person I was 12 years ago, and I'm not the artist I was. And the nice thing is, I've really enjoyed. It's almost like kind of meeting an old friend and starting again, not having to really, catch up. And I feel quite lucky that I made a work when I was relatively young that's in the National Collection, which illustrates what I've continued to be.